The live feed is intermittent. These pictures were recorded in the last few minutes, and it just goes to show you how determined Libyan protesters are to show the world their plight. Back to Twitter now. In Algeria, pro-democracy rallies have been stopped, and the crackdown is what's driving the chatter. Order of the Jackal has this. Several injured and arrested as police use batons to break up pro-democracy rally in Algeria capital. NJ Nubia on what will happen next. Algerians vow to hold massive demonstrations every Saturday until the 12-year Abdelaziz Bouteflika dictatorship collapses. And from outside of Algeria, some advice for the protesters. Civilian resistors must take important precautions for secrecy and anonymity in communications. With so much going on across the region, go to www.aljazeera.net/English for all the latest. There you're going to see all the latest video, eyewitness reports, analysis and reporting from some of the best in the business. That's it from the web desk. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Imran. Well, let's move to another story now. Male hairdressers in Gaza are appealing to human rights groups, claiming Hamas has banned them from working. They say they were raided by plainclothes policemen and ordered to stop cutting women's hair. They also claim to have been banned from re-entering their premises. Well, for more on this story, we can go to Nicole Johnston in Gaza. Nicole, Gaza is a pretty conservative society. How are people reacting to this?
Well, the main reaction so far has been from the male hairdressers themselves. We met them this morning. There's only about half a dozen of them, and they don't actually cut hair for a large percentage of the population in Gaza. As you said, it is a conservative society, but they're very upset by this because most of them employ 5 or 6 people, for example. And they say, as you said, that on Saturday, plainclothes Hamas policemen entered their shop. They made them go to the police station. They made them sign a document saying that they would no longer cut women's hair and that they wouldn't enter their shops while there were women in there. So it pretty much makes it impossible for them to conduct their business. They're also told that if they broke this new rule, they would. All right, we'll leave it there. Apologise for the slight technical problem. Well, coming up, Farah will be here with all the sport, including New Zealand make history at the Cricket World Cup in India. Farah will give us the details.
The times change. The instruments evolve. The battlegrounds shift.
This is America! Our country!
But the international struggle continues.
He was murdered!
Uncompromising, hard-hitting investigations.
I can't get no justice from no one in Jamaica.
People and power, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies. We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. On Al Jazeera.
In a new series of one-hour documentaries, Al Jazeera English showcases films from across the Al Jazeera network.
We are now heading in towards Palestinian waters.
2 small boats set out from Greece to challenge the siege of Gaza. A dangerous act of defiance in the face of injustice.
They're only trying to scare us.
An extraordinary act of solidarity with the Palestinian people.
Al Jazeera World at this time.
Welcome back, and here to tell us more about the cricket is Farah.
Thank you, Sammy. Well, day 2 of the Cricket World Cup is underway. In Sunday's early game, 2003 World Cup semi-finalists Kenya were thrashed by New Zealand in their match in Chennai. After winning the toss and opting to bat, the Kenyans were bowled out for just 69 runs, the 5th lowest score in World Cup history. Hamish Bennett starred for the winners with the ball, taking 4 wickets for just 16 runs. In reply, the Black Caps made short work of the target, with the openers knocking off the runs without loss in just 8 overs. This is New Zealand's first 10-wicket World Cup win.
I don't think we ever expected it to be this easy, I think, but to be able to bowl that well and allow our batsmen to have such a small chase is always pleasing. So we didn't expect that, but we're pretty happy with how we performed.
The other game Sunday sees home side Sri Lanka take on Canada and Hambantota. Sri Lanka won the toss, and thanks to a century from Mahela Jayawardena and 92 from Kumar Sangakkara, put on a healthy total of 332 for 7 off their 50 overs. Canada have just started their reply and are 12 for 3. Meanwhile, Bangladesh's first experience of hosting a Cricket World Cup match didn't exactly go to plan. They were well beaten by India after the co-hosts produced a stunning batting display in Dhaka. India eventually winning by a margin of 87 runs. Andy Richardson reports.
No one in Dhaka wanted to miss this moment of history. Bangladesh hosting their first ever World Cup game, the biggest sporting event this country's ever seen. What's more, their opponents were neighbours and fierce rivals India, a side they sensationally beat at the last World Cup. Bangladesh won the toss but opted to bowl first, and it was the Indian batsmen who got off to a flyer. Some home respite was offered when Sachin Tendulkar was run out for just 28. But Virender Sehwag more than made up for his role in that dismissal. He eased his way to the first century of this World Cup. Sehwag was by now limping, but he had the Bangladesh fielders running to all parts. He went on to score a mighty 175. Virat Kohli also hit a century, the co-host finishing up on 370 for 4. Bangladesh responded with some big hitting of their own. Tamim Iqbal once again pivotal to his side's effort. When he went for 70 though, so too did his team's best chance of victory. Bangladesh's final total of 283 for 9, giving India victory by 87 runs.
I thought we could have bowled better. I thought we bowled too many boundary balls and that cost us the game. On the other hand, Virender Sehwag played really good innings and he took the game away from us.
Still, Bangladesh is a good side in ODI. They can disappoint any bigger sides if they got to know that their strength and weaknesses, and if they play well against good sides, especially the Test nation side. So still they can disappoint anyone.
So this not exactly the start Bangladesh fans would have been hoping for. Their team though can get their campaign back on track in their next game against Ireland. As for India, well, this generation of players has achieved so much, but they've never been able to repeat their country's World Cup triumph of 1983. Maybe this year they'll get it right. Andy Richardson, Al Jazeera, Dhaka.
Formula One boss Bernie Ecclestone has reportedly said that he is leaving the decision as to whether the season opening race in Bahrain goes ahead to the country's crown prince. The ongoing protests in the kingdom have already forced the cancellation of the scheduled test events at the circuit in the capital Manama. Crown prince and heir apparent Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa is also the deputy